forgets quiet kindness, but never stops echoing loud cruelty. Have you ever noticed that the people who are kind, soft-spoken, and sincere often fade into the background of life, while those who hurt others, break the rules, or hunger for power seem to live in everyone's mouths, their names carried from headline to household like bitter songs we can't stop humming? It's one of those strange injustices that doesn't show up in courtrooms or textbooks, but lives, silently, in the way we remember and retell the world. Let me tell you a story. There was once a woman named Lean who worked quietly at a school tucked in a corner of the city. She wasn't anyone famous. She wasn't the principal or someone with awards lining the wall. But for 35 years, she arrived before the sun, unlocking the doors, preparing the classrooms, and sweeping the paths. Every child who had ever stepped into that school had unknowingly walked on her silent devotion. She knew their names. She remembered who liked to sit near the window, who cried on the first day, who always forgot their lunch. She never raised her voice, and she never sought recognition. When she retired, they gave her a small bouquet and a quiet goodbye. A week later, no one really spoke of her again. Meanwhile, across town, a wealthy businessman was being arrested for fraud. His face was everywhere, on the news, on social media, in angry coffee shop conversations. People discussed him as if they knew him personally. His name echoed through the city like a warning bell. And I remember wondering, even then, why is it that the one who quietly held hundreds of lives together is forgotten, while the one who broke trust for greed becomes unforgettable? It's not that the world hates kindness. It's that kindness, by its nature, doesn't demand attention. It doesn't come with flashing lights or breaking news. It doesn't force itself into memory. It just gives, and then disappears. Cruelty, on the other hand, makes noise. It scars. It stirs outrage. It triggers fear. And fear, unfortunately, remembers better than love. Psychologists have long noted the brain's negativity bias, our tendency to focus more on what went wrong than what went right. It's a survival instinct. Thousands of years ago, knowing who betrayed the tribe was more important than remembering who gave you berries. Today, we scroll through headlines, watch dramas unfold online, and talk about terrible people, not because we admire them, but because we can't look away. We've created a culture where visibility often matters more than virtue. The loudest, not the wisest, are heard. The cruelest, not the kindest, are remembered. The ruthless, not the respectful, are feared and thus preserved in the archive of human memory. Think about your own life. You may remember the teacher who embarrassed you in front of class, the boss who manipulated you, the partner who lied. But do you remember the classmate who shared their umbrella with you in the rain? Or the neighbor who smiled at you every morning for a year? Sometimes, the good people in our lives become like the background music of a movie, always there, shaping the mood, giving texture, but rarely noticed until it stops playing. And maybe, that's part of the quiet tragedy of being good. That in a world addicted to spectacle, softness is mistaken for silence. But here's where the story turns, not in volume, but in depth. Because while the world forgets, the soul remembers. That child who was held by a gentle teacher grows up to be a gentle parent. That stranger who received kindness in a dark hour pays it forward without even realizing. The quiet good ripples in places where noise can't reach. As philosopher Howard Zinn once said, small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform the world. You may not see the transformation. You may not be thanked for it. But it happens not in headlines, but in hearts. Still, it's hard, isn't it? To keep being good in a world that doesn't always reward it. To speak gently when louder voices win. To give when others take and still get ahead. It makes you wonder, is goodness worth it if no one remembers? And yet, maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe the question isn't who remembers you, but what kind of world you leave behind in your forgetting. Because the truth is, we will all be forgotten eventually. Even the loud ones. History distorts, edits, erases.